It was clearly a rough day for FBI Director Kash Patel in his first oversight appearance before the Senate Judiciary Committee since his confirmation.
I think this might be your last oversight hearing, because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose.
That moment was followed by a lot of yelling and fighting, and it pretty much summed up the tone of the day. Patel lashing out at senators who were trying to get information, very obviously in hopes that Donald Trump was watching.
Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
Not in the weeds.
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace.
I'm joined now by Senator Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Well, how do you think that went?
Well, clearly I struck a nerve. I think he realized just how absurd the idea is that, Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, our current deputy attorney general, meets with this sex offender, the most important witness in the Jeffrey Epstein case, and then is suddenly transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like her. And we're supposed to believe the administration had nothing to do with that. It's preposterous. So I think it was a combination of realizing that what he said was just stupid and not credible, but also he's at risk of losing his job. And he thinks by attacking me, by attacking Cory Booker, by attacking Democrats, maybe he can salvage his job. But, my feeling is, look, if he continues to be so incompetent, if he continues to say in a high-profile, horrible assassination case that the subject is in custody when the shooter is not in custody, he continues to embarrass the FBI and the president, he's not going to last long in that job, no matter how much he attacks me or anyone else.
I want to ask about an exchange you had about the Epstein case, and specifically what the evidence that the FBI has or DOJ has indicates about the sort of scope of people that were associated with Epstein, particularly the most egregious crimes he committed. Take a listen.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
You're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying.
Now, I will admit to being confused because I watched a bunch of the hearing. I was looking back over the transcripts. He seemed to answer that to Senator Kennedy. I mean, again, I'm not saying I don't know the truth here, to be honest. I don't necessarily believe that Kash Patel's a credible messenger, but maybe that is the case. But he seemed to answer yes to Senator Kennedy and not to you, and then get mad at you and said the same. So do you understand what his testimony was today?
His testimony was, and it was hard to understand because it was so far-fetched, that Jeffrey Epstein only trafficked women to himself, not to anyone else. Basically, the client list, this celebrated Epstein list, only has one name on it, and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That was the import of his testimony. I was struck by it. I think Senator Kennedy and others were struck by it. Of course, there's no one who's, I think, going to be more struck by it than the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking. But apparently Kash Patel and the FBI now want the American people and Trump's own base to believe, hey, there's only one name on Epstein's list, and that's Jeffrey Epstein. I also asked him about Maxwell in that interview with Todd Blanche, says that there are Trump cabinet members who are associated with Epstein, and Blanche doesn't even bother to ask who they are. So I asked him, who are they? And he refused to answer.
There's obviously been a lot of focus, both in the Epstein case, on the director of the FBI sort of live tweeting through the investigation to the aftermath of the killing of Charlie Kirk and appearing to get it wrong in a highly embarrassing fashion while he was having dinner at a New York City restaurant. One thing struck me today, and you just mentioned competency, it really does matter a lot if the FBI is doing a good job at what they should do. I mean, we just commemorated the 24th anniversary of 9/11, and I remember reading the field memos that came from FBI agents in places like Minneapolis that had identified the fact that there were these individuals taking these flight lessons, and ultimately and tragically those dots were not put together. Do you have confidence that this institution is being run at the sort of just blocking and tackling day-to-day counterterrorism, stopping big plots, big bad things that might happen, that it's functioning?
No, I don't know how any of us can have that confidence for a number of reasons. One is, not only is Patel incompetent, but he is firing all the competent people. A lot of the questioning today, including my own, was focused on his firing senior leaders at the FBI for no other reason than the fact they were assigned cases investigating Donald Trump. Now, he, I think, lied about that clearly today. He's being sued by 3 senior FBI agents who will take him to court and depose him, and I think reveal those lies. But he's firing the experienced people. And more than that, he's taking agents off of these important investigations, like sex trafficking, like counterterrorism, like malicious foreign interference. And what is he doing with them? He's putting them on immigration raids. So it's the diversion of resources, the incompetence at the very top, and the getting rid of people who are the true professionals. And I have to imagine morale at the Bureau is just at a all-time low, because how can you respect someone like Patel? My concluding comments to him after our back and forth is, you can take an internet troll and make him FBI director, but he's still not going to be anything more than an internet troll, and that just makes us a lot less safe.
Senator Adam Schiff, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.